All right, the next topic I want to discuss today is forums. I know a number of publications have begun discussions regarding or even already integrated the ability to comment on individual articles. Now, certainly, this can certainly allow you to communicate about your journal and get information out. But before implementing forums, I would just definitely want to make sure you think about a few things. There are several factors to consider. So the first, and this is always important no matter what kind of functionality you're implementing, do your users want this functionality? So certainly, you know, a lot of us attend board meetings where someone says, you know, what I think would be a great idea is, and certainly we want to encourage editorial boards and all kinds of people to give input about what else they think would be something a journal might want to do. But definitely before, you know, going down a road that would require programming or implementation, or certainly in these economic times cost more money, definitely do a survey and find out, do your users want this functionality? And then in addition, will they actually use it? You might also want to consider, are they already commenting about the journal elsewhere, perhaps on blogs or on other forums? You know, if they're already commenting on other forums about your journal, but also possibly about other journals as well, it might be difficult to get them to transition to, you know, one particular forum that you have created rather than one that would allow them to comment on, you know, a multitude of different journals. Also, if you're contemplating adding forums, you might want to make sure, you know, will adding that functionality require users to verify their identity, which might actually keep them from following through. You know, one of the great things about Facebook, and one of the reasons that so many people add comments on Facebook, is that they're already logged in, so they can add a comment without having to, in any way, you know, further log in or verify who they are. Although certainly many of us might wish to require people to verify who they were before they make a comment, or say, really, are you sure? Anyway, and then last but not least, you know, I want to make sure that you think about with forums whether or not you would need a moderator to vet the comments before they're made available to the public. So, you know, certainly when people make comments, if it's going to be tied forever to an article, you may want to review that comment to make sure, you know, that not only is it worthwhile and helpful and would be useful to people actually reading the article, but also that it's not, you know, too negative, or that it was actually made by a real person rather than some kind of, you know, robot or, you know, kind of computer program that's just going to go out and try and put, whether it be a link to some completely unrelated site or something else. So last, I just want to say as well, be mindful of wording. If you're going to do a forum, you know, certainly no author likes seeing that although an article was published online 5 years ago, the website is still encouraging readers to be the first to add a comment about the article. So certainly keep all those things in mind. All right, so I want to talk next about alerts. Something definitely I want to talk about with alerts. A number of different functionalities can be utilized to ensure your readers are notified when and how they wish to be notified. You know, we all get bulk emails, and many of those end up in file 13 or in our spam. But be sure, using alerts allows people to opt in from the beginning and only send some information that they want. So certainly, you know, some examples of that are very common. Whenever a new issue is added to the website, you might want to sign up for an alert. So, hey, sure enough, the new table of contents is there and I can access the information. Or perhaps a saved search alert as well. So if I have done a search, and it's a search I'm going to be commonly using because I'm specializing in a certain field, you know, I might want to be able to save that search and sign up to be alerted whenever an article is going to be posted that's going to match those particular criteria. And then also tracking of citations. You know, if I'm an author and my article has been published, whenever I am cited, being alerted about that would certainly be a fantastic thing from an author's point of view. At least most authors at this point still want to be notified when they're cited. So, you know, those kinds of alerts not only allow people to opt in, but they're information people actually want as well. So. There are other ways as well to find out about information, and sharing is one of the things as well. Now, I certainly want to stress, when I talk about sharing, I'm not talking about oversharing. So, certainly many people enjoy being able to quickly share an article that they found useful with their friends or colleagues. And websites typically implement sharing in a number of different ways these days. But certainly some of the most common are emailing a friend to let them know about an article, or even posting a link to the article on a social networking site such as Facebook, or possibly even to Twitter. So having that link to share an article, in this view I've clicked a link which lets me email a colleague about the article. And certainly many sharing functionalities on websites include guaranteeing that a human, or not a bot or an automated computer program, is the one sharing the information with you. And you can see at the bottom of this we have something called CAPTCHA, which is very commonly used. And it just asks people to type the word or words that they see into a box, which ideally and hopefully an automated program would not be able to replicate, somewhat verifying that a human is trying to send you that information. One of the most important ways to harness the communication power of your journal is to make sure it plays well with others. So delivering the content to places that you possibly didn't anticipate it would travel. And often this means letting machines communicate with your content. And that's one of the biggest places where XML benefits your content. Tagging your content in XML gives it flexibility and portability, allowing you to distribute it to a variety of aggregators and indexers, in addition to using it in your online journal website. So for the purposes of today's discussion, when I say aggregators and indexers, I mean some of the organizations whose logos are shown here. But there are many aggregators and indexers, and some even created for specific disciplines. Please don't think that only the people whose logos I've put here are places you should be sending your content. In no way, am I endorsing any one of these over the others. But the exit-only sign only had so much room there for me. So certainly, it's important to make sure your content is being used by the community it's intended for. So if nothing else, make sure that your content is at least going there. So whatever you do to communicate with your users and subscribers, remember your online journal website should be a toolbox which allows you to communicate in more than one way, and definitely in a variety of ways that you deem useful to your particular publication. So with that, I think we should move on to certainly the burning questions that you might have about them. So I've got a couple of different questions here, and the first couple of questions that I have available are asking if you'll be able to download a PowerPoint or a PDF of these slides at the end of this webinar. And I just want to stress that yes, we certainly will make the slides available, and we typically also make the audio available as well, so that you'll be able to come and listen to it again if you wanted to, or watch it again if you wanted to. And we get that posted up pretty quickly. It's not going to be immediately at the close of today's webinar, but it certainly will be very soon, probably tomorrow. And we will have that available on the allenpress.com website. There's a section there that says events. And I believe we can probably send everyone a follow-up email as well. Yes, I'm getting a confirmation on that. We'll send a follow-up email as well, just to make sure you can get to it as easily as possible from a link. So, all right, I have another question here that says, any advice on getting journals indexed and abstracted? So certainly, I would be happy to give you some advice on that. And the first advice I will give you is don't listen to only my opinion on that. But certainly, there are a number of places out there who can help get your content indexed and out there to other places. The first thing you're really going to need to make sure you do is that you have your content available in XML. Certainly when you're sending that content out to different places, you're going to probably need to send XML. You might also need to send PDF, but certainly probably going to need to send XML. And so when you go about the process of doing that, you're probably going to want to make sure not only that you research how you can get your content into XML. There are a number of vendors available if you weren't able to create your own XML in-house who can create it for you. And then some of those vendors will also actually be happy to send it to a number of different indexers for you. And they, can often have not only experience doing it, but know exactly how an abstractor or an indexer is going to need to have that content and can make sure that it's sent in the appropriate ways. The one I would stress probably above all others, if you haven't talked to Crossref yet, you should definitely talk with Crossref. Crossref is an organization where you can sign up and have a membership, and certainly they have one of the largest collections of content out there and allow you to assign a DOI to all of your content as well. As far as other abstractors and indexers as well, if you go to some of the annual meetings or, that happen each year, it might be SSP, or which is a Society for Scholarly Publishing, or other meetings like that. There are often a lot of the abstractors and indexers have booths at those meetings, and you can go there. But certainly, people who have meetings always list who their exhibitors were as well online, so you can probably link out to additional information from there. And if you have any in particular that you would like me to send you information about, just shoot us an email at Allen Press, and we can definitely be, be helpful in providing information about how to contact those people as well. So, all right. So I have another question that says, Allen Press's 3B2 typesetting system embeds XML tagging into final PDFs of journal articles, don't they? Question mark. So certainly we use a typesetting system here at Allen Press. We actually have a couple of different options for typesetting, but one of them is an XML first workflow using 3B2, which certainly creates both XML and PDFs of each individual journal article. And certainly information can be included in actual PDFs in a number of different ways. The metadata for those PDFs can have information added to them as well, and that's definitely, what information is embedded into a PDF metadata is something that often is going to be journal specific and certainly up to the journal specifications or preferences for sure. But certainly there are a number of options there. I would personally always recommend sending, both XML and PDFs rather than just PDFs. Having both the XML and the PDF allows you to have not only a visual representation, but then also, the kind of more machine code kind of feel of XML as well that you can send out. So certainly there are options for embedding it in PDFs, but I would say it's never a bad plan to have both XML and PDF. So I have another question that says, on my journal site, I have links open in a new window so that readers can come back easily to our site. Is this considered good or bad policy? So certainly, I would say it depends on the type of link. I wouldn't necessarily give it, the stamp of approval in every case, but I certainly would say it's not a bad policy in any way. I know there are a lot of people like myself who are consistently having so many different windows open as they navigate through different programs and through different websites. And often, if I'm going to go to a new website, I'm even going to intentionally say, open this in a new tab. So yeah, definitely, I don't think it's something I would say is bad in any way, shape, or form. Then again, I would say also it's not the worst idea to, from time to time, to send a survey maybe of people that use the journal and ask if they are finding it useful or not as well. So, so yeah, I would certainly say don't stop doing that. But yeah, definitely get some feedback from your readers as well. So. Okay, I think that's all of the questions that we've had sent to us for the moment, so I'm going to go ahead and hand this back over to Tim. So thank you for your time, and I know Tim has some additional information. So here we go.